give us a little bit of your background, where you come from, and then from your perspective, how you or your company or the work that you do contributes to this aerospace economy in West Virginia.
Hi, I'm Denise Lindsey. I work for a company called TMC Technologies. We're out of Marion County. We're probably 2 minutes away from the Katherine Johnson IB&V NASA facility. And also, we do a lot of work with the WVU, with the WVU Small Sat Center that was started this year. I'm coming from a different kind of perspective up here on the panel. I'm more on the technology side. We also, our main focus today with Aerospace is going to be on the space initiative or astronautic piece. TMC, and I don't know if any of you know this or most of you know this, but West Virginia actually has a satellite in space today. Today marks the 5-year mark that this thing's been up there. It's a small satellite that TMC designed, built, launched with the NASA IB&V Center and WVU. And just to put it into perspective so you can be proud when you talk about it, most small satellites have an average of a 90-day lifespan. Ours is still floating. It's not floating, it's orbiting. But that's because of the technologies behind it. And we're a software / technology company, and that's what we do. We built this software with a small team inside the NASA IB&V Center that does modeling and simulation so that we could build these things at lower cost. And they're just now starting to get traction. With the Small Sat Center, the goal for that was to build up the center so not only do we design and use technologies, but that we use research missions. And like, these people exist in our state. We have 2 very intelligent, crazy smart professors up there. Dr. Mehta, he's doing research on space debris right now, which is a big problem in the national space arena. Actually, it's global. And then we have Dr. Hongwon Lee, who also is doing research in space debris and other things that we're bringing to the Small Sat Center. We have Dr. Rhodes, and the manufacturing piece of it. Students are doing this as their capstone product. So aerospace is starting to take off, especially at WVU now that they have this degree, but I'm going to agree with the panelists that we need to spread this across West Virginia, try to duplicate this center, invest in these research and development centers at the college level, increase the STEM like Tracy said at the K through 12 so they're interested in it. But then we want to bring people home. I'm the vice president. I guess I should have started there, sorry. I'm the vice president of our Federal Civilian Division, which oversees space. I'm from West Virginia. I was born here. I went to WVU in computer science, got an executive degree from Cornell. I never had to leave because the technology park started up and I got to start there and work for NASA and stay there. And even though I worked for some companies outside of West Virginia, I was still remote and be able to work here. We have a pipeline that we're trying to build here, but we need it to be larger, we need it to be bigger, and we need to let our people know outside of West Virginia, you can come home because we're doing this here. You don't have to go over there and work on space. So that's what I'm going to talk about today and some of the challenges and innovations when it comes to the technologies of aerospace. Thank you.
Thank you, Denise, and thank you all the panelists. Denise, I'm going to target you for a similar question, but really related to space. And I'm not sure how much experience we have in the audience in space, but one of the things that we constantly hear from our senior Department of Defense officials is that for the first time ever over the last couple of years, the United States space assets are now held at risk. And we have not had that happen in the past, and so it makes sense that the U.S. military is spending a lot of money on space. But Denise, you probably see the commercial side as well. And so from a space perspective, at 50,000 foot view, or higher, I guess, in your case, why space? Why the resurgence from the 60s when we were all excited about going to the moon, and all of a sudden we're starting to see a lot more excitement about space, a lot of companies getting into space. What are you seeing from your perspective?
Yeah, thank you. So from lower Earth orbit is where I'll speak from. There's 2 reasons really that I think it's in the forefront right now. There is for absolutely this new focused area. And it's both public and private. So public is definitely commercial. This space tourism, it's a thing. It's gaining traction. We've all heard of Elon and his company and what he's got planned. And, I could see that happening for sure. And And then, of course, NASA, their space exploration is really starting to gain some more focus too. You know, the James Webb Telescope that's way out in deep space, if you haven't been on their website, it shows pictures that are fascinating of solar systems and galaxies we didn't even know existed. Whereas, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, we didn't have the visual into that. Now we're getting a visual image of this stuff, which makes it even more exciting. But honestly, from the defense, from where we should be concerned, and I think that you touched on it when we talk about the defense and security, there's two reasons why we should be focused on space, and in particular West Virginia, because the foundation is laid, as I'll talk about too. But one is the connectivity and communications. These satellites that are out there that we're talking about, these are gathering data, and I think I looked, there was over like 3,000 in lower Earth orbit right now that are commissioned, and other ones are just floating around in debris, which is another problem. But these are detecting weather patterns, helping to fight fires with the air quality, but also Wi-Fi, everything. And if you guys paid attention, and this made national news, right before Russia attacked Ukraine, they cut out their Wi-Fi, and they did that by hacking into their satellite servers. So this is a thing, and we have to absolutely secure our spacecrafts and our space assets, because more and more and more, we're putting this stuff up in lower Earth orbit on satellites, not on Earth itself. It sounds crazy that we're saying that, but it's true. We have this capability and technologies and manufacturing in West Virginia, and this economy is insane. It's blowing up. I saw a projection yesterday. The space economy underneath aerospace, just space, not aviation, is projected by 2040 to be I think it was $141 billion industry. Because, and also, really, part of this is because they're also estimating that 95% of launch costs are going to go down. So that tells me we're going to have more spaceports, because there's going to be more availability. All of a sudden, people are launching all the time. We need to stay ahead of that. We need to stay ahead of it through technologies and investments in our STEM and all these things that we're talking about. We're going to keep repeating to you, but it's a big deal. And we honestly, even TMC, like, we are creating cyber ranges with our technologies that we're building here, and we have folks and missions and top tier things I can't talk about that's happening. So we need to be that company. We need to tell the people, you can come and work here, stay here, and like he said, implant from other states here.
Okay, thank you very much, Denise. Denise, you were talking about some challenges that really move into opportunities from your perspective in the industry. Could you talk a little bit about those?
As I mentioned, we have to secure our space assets. We have to secure our servers that are here on Earth as well, too, right? One of the things that TMC does and WVU, and actually what I think is really great to mention here is Marshall just getting this new cyber lab. Between the Small Sat Center up at WVU and TMC and then NASA and then incorporating the cyber lab as they work together, we can become this innovative hub here, if you will, to test space assets from a cyber attacks. We can build out this cyber range. We can take this facility, build it into something amazing so that they come here to use it. This does not exist today. In fact, the technology that we have doesn't exist anywhere in the nation. We've been looking. And every white paper we write, we can't find it yet. So we have these people coming to look for it. West Virginia has a great opportunity for economic growth in the technology field to build out this IR&D with a cyber focus for small sat and spacecraft software. And if you guys would like to hear more about that or how we could do that, it's off the panel. But yeah, I think it's a great area for an investment here, specifically in West Virginia.
Well, and we also have new cybersecurity programs that started at State and at Marshall. Yep. And many of our folks that are in the CTC programs will be able to transition to those universities and get into that area. Denise, I'm going to come down to you. I want to stay on this workforce development. You come from really a technology development perspective, and what are you seeing out there? What can we do? We do know that education leaders say all the time that our engineers, our scientists often make these decisions early in their life, much earlier than we expect in elementary school and middle school. What can we do in West Virginia to support a company like TMC and other technology developers to make sure that we have that workforce that we need in order to continue growing the economy here in aerospace?
Yeah, great. So not to reiterate, but it was great what Tracy just said. I hope you heard it. So I'll reiterate it. The K through 12 is super important from a space perspective as well. Even, they grow up, they read the books, they see the space, they learn their planets, but to actually be engaged in a curriculum or an activity that involves space, it's a game changer. We have so many interns at TMC and NASA IVMV that did something that was in 6th grade or something like that when the NASA IVMV STEM outreach. But I don't know for sure, but I know that our region up here in Mon County, Marion County, it's very active, but I don't know where it is in the rest of the state. So I think expanding and investing in that and maybe figuring out a way how to do aerospace as a whole but include the space would be a great thing to do. Because when kids hear engineering, or you talk to your kids, and my kids alone too, if you say engineering, they immediately go to mechanical or chemical engineering. They don't really necessarily think about aerospace or technical in that perspective. And if we're really thinking about it, I think there's only one place in the nation, maybe two now, that have space camps. That we've talked about this in the region with Pennsylvania and Ohio through the Keystone Collaborative. This would be a great investment if you really want to get the kids involved in space in our region. Start up a space camp. That could be at anybody's district. I think it would be a great idea.